Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to J&J's Next Play. I am your host Julio, and alongside me I got.
Well, I'm glad you finally remember you were the host, because I don't know where the hell you been.
I
Yeah,
know where I've been. You
that's
know
the
where I've been.
energy. That's the energy I'm starting with this episode with because it's been really disrespectful. Because this man got some sort of taste of some sort of new water that he's gonna be telling you about it soon, and he be acting different. Like he, all of a sudden, I started questioning myself, ladies and gentlemen. I started to ask myself, is this the end of the J&J podcast? Like, is this really what it's come to? Like, I was genuinely concerned. But before we continue, I got a song for y'all, and I got some breaking news that we gotta inform you guys about. So, for those that of you that are not aware, and didn't have your alerts on your ESPN app, there is a breaking blockbuster trade deal that officially went down about a month ago now, I think, about a couple of weeks ago, or
Give or
say
take.
or less. But nonetheless, it was one of our very own. It's our
So
very
so
host,
so
Mr.
so
Julio
so
Studios. Now,
so.
Julio, why don't you touch up on and introduce to these people what happened?
All right, guys. So the reason you guys are watching this episode right now, and you see that I have a very clean, shaved face, not like my scruffy beard that I've had in the past couple episodes. It's pretty much due to the fact that I found a new place of employment, and uh, life has been going a little bit, at a faster pace as of lately. And the reason we haven't really done an episode for a while now is due to the fact that I was changing employment, getting used to a new schedule, new responsibilities, and to be quite honest, a new job when you have a baby and you have to come home and you're dead tired.
Don't bring the kid into
Time
the picture, dog.
time
Don't blame
doesn't
it on the kid,
become,
dog.
the older you get, time is always against you. So if you're out there watching and you have nothing but time, enjoy it, appreciate it, value it. Because when you get older, that's why they always say that Father Time is undefeated. Yo, it ain't no joke, bro. Father Time is undefeated. But as Juan did mention, I no longer, work where I was working at. I'm not gonna say names or be in specifics. I did find somewhere else new. It is great.
At them, dog.
I love
At
it.
them. At them. I'm just
Like
instigating. I'm
Juan
just
like
instigating
Juan
you.
said, the water tastes different. The air is fresher. It's better. So that is as far as I go with that.
My
But we're
man
back.
put pen to paper, ladies and gents.
I've been saying it for a while now, and I finally,
Jersey swap alert.
so regardless, we're here now. We're now gonna have a consistent schedule, and we have a lot to talk about.
Yo,
So,
before you make false promises, let's keep this going, dog. Because you've been breaking my heart lately, dog.
and I will not break your heart no more.
I hope not, man. I hope not, man. I've been going to therapy about this, man.
Which
It ain't
which
been
which
easy.
ya le titaje, bro. So let's get to the breaking news. Let's start off with Super Bowl. I hosted a Super Bowl party. Juan obviously was there, and oh, by the way, before we go into more stuff, I bought myself a 3D printer. So I got a little stuff like this 3D printed. Why do I say this? Because Juan over here, everybody knows is a Patriots fan, and I 3D printed for him a Patriots chain. My dog Juan came hyped. He came with a Tom Brady jersey. He put a Brady poster in his office. This dude was going bananas, and he's about to put the chain on now. Yeah, so right there, guys, 3D printed. Came out clean. As we all know, the Patriots lost to the Seahawks. Seahawks finally got the revenge after, making
Arguably the
that
worst mistake ever. Just say how it is.
worst mistake probably in NFL history. But I will tell you two things about the Super Bowl. Number one, the game itself was boring as hell, and number two, the commercials are no longer what the commercials used to be. I think maybe there was like one or two good commercials. One of them being the Jurassic Park with Comcast team up that they did. To me, the only highlight of the Super Bowl was probably the thing that was the most controversial, and it was Bad Bunny, bro. Bad Bunny was awesome. Bad Bunny was the man of the Super Bowl, but the
I
game itself was
there's
boring.
there's a lot of different opinions on that performance.
Oh yeah, people can have all the opinions they want, and for those of you that don't know, there's certain Americans out there that decided to do the real halftime show where they brought
America,
people that were
baby.
past their prime, unos gringos ahí brincando y cantando that completely sucked. At the end of the day, I get it. I'm Hispanic. I understand the music. I love Bad Bunny. I've been to his concert. I think he's a great performer. That to me was probably one of the greatest performances in the Super Bowl history. And a lot of people, I feel like, well, what I've read online would agree with me. The very few 5, 10, 20% of people don't agree are the ring ding 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 ding
I
that,
don't know, bro. I don't know. I might have a lot to say there. I might have a lot to
well,
say.
I'm giving you my personal opinion on what I've seen on my feed. Granted, there are people that didn't like it. Apparently, there's videos where people in the stands really weren't jamming to his music, and the speakers were, mimicking the noise of people clapping and getting hyped up or whatever. But at the end of the day, let's be real, bro. Like, let's compare it to like the Super Bowl where Usher performed. Usher sucked. When it was here in Miami, that it was Shakira and J Lo. Again, they were talking in Spanish. No one complained because it was two women, or what is it? It's people just have it against Bad
You,
Bunny
you let
because
me
he's a very controversial artist.
you let me know when it's my turn.
I'll let you know it's your turn, but I'm just proving my point. Now, another other performances I think were great. The Weeknd when he performed was a great performance. The one in California that had Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, that was another great performance. Again, it's just Bad Bunny was doing the Super Bowl and it was controversial from the beginning because he's done music videos where he dressed up as a woman. There's videos where he's kissed guys on the stage. Again, guys, he is a performer. He knows how to make his name be number one on every headline and every topic that's being searched. Do I agree with all the stuff that he does? Not really. But do I think his music is good? Yeah. Do I think his performance was good? Yeah. But overall, Super Bowl game sucked. Commercial sucked. Bad Bunny, was kind of hyped, and then after Bad Bunny performed, and I saw the Patriots were long gone, I started picking up the house, this and that. So once the game ended, I could have gone straight to sleep because the day after the Super Bowl was my first day of my new job. Juan, what is your takeaway of the Super Bowl?
All right. So I'm gonna start with the actual things that matter here, which is the sports atmosphere and the sports topics of the situation. As far as the game,
I'm listening. I'm just gonna close the door.
as far as the game, I think definitely there was a clear winner. Obviously, the Seahawks blew out the Patriots, and the storyline the entire time was, are the Seahawks finally are gonna get the revenge that they needed to get against the Patriots because we all know the horrific mistake that they committed the last time they played the Patriots when Tom Brady was the quarterback. They made the silly mistake of throwing the ball on second down when they were like 3 yards out from the touchdown. You arguably had one of the best running backs in the game at the time, Marshawn Lynch, which was a tank. So if I was coaching, I'm running the ball 4 out of 4 times. Like some way, somehow, Marshawn is gonna find a way in there, and they would have won the Super Bowl, and the Patriots would have lost another Super Bowl. So we would have been having a lot of different conversations if that would have been the case, but it wasn't. The Patriots ended up doing Patriots things. They picked off the ball, and the game pretty much turned up around, and the Patriots became the Super Bowl champions once again. Um, as far as the game goes, to be honest, yes, it was kind of slow. It was kind of like as speaking from the Patriots side of things, I obviously again it was like for the Patriots season to be the way that it worked out alone was already a win. Like they weren't supposed to be in the Super Bowl. I know obviously the players will feel otherwise because again, every player wants to make the Super Bowl. Nobody's going to say they don't want to go to the Super Bowl. But I do feel like the stage was very big for our roster that we had. I think a lot of players were not ready to be in that type of game.
Which
And
which
it
which granted
obviously
it.
it factored to a crucial way where clearly Seattle dismantled them, both on the offensive end and the defensive. Like I said it from the beginning. If the Patriots offensive line couldn't be the best offensive line all year long in that game, they were gonna lose because the Seahawks were gonna hit Drake May, and that's exactly what was happening. Drake May could not throw the ball downfield without getting rocked, and the other thing that I'll mention is the Patriots also waited too long to take a shot. They were too scared of the Seattle defense. They knew that Seattle could basically be the only defense that could guard you in six different positions in a man coverage, which is ridiculous. Um, but aside from that, the one time that they did take a shot, guess what? They scored, but it was a little bit too late. It was a little bit too late, and I felt like I know as we were watching the game, and I was over there with you guys, I was constantly saying like they need to take a shot. They need to take a shot, and they need to do it now. And I honestly wanted them to do it before the halftime when the game was like 13-0. At that time, it felt right to like say, you know what, we're gonna take a shot here, and we're gonna see what happens. Because again, I'm going back to what I just said. The one time they did it, they scored. Drake made through a 50-yard touchdown, and it was caught, and we scored, and we kept it moving, right? Um, but it was a little bit too late. Seattle was already at the point where they were too dominant, and they had basically won the game.
Well, I mean, if you don't mind me adding to you, because you did bring up a good point. The good thing about all of this is that the Patriots made it somewhere where they weren't expected to like make it.
Yeah, no,
It
the
kind of
Bills were
it
supposed to be there,
it
100%.
kind of reminds me when the Heat made it to the NBA Finals in the COVID year. Like no one expected a Lakers and Heat matchup or a
Well,
late
not just
or
that. Also when the Heat made it to the finals as the eighth seed, that they lost to Denver. Like that was a ridiculous run. Like it's kind of
it
like
was.
again in sports, there's these conversations where people say it all the time. Like you hear coaches, athletes talk about it all the time. Like when you enter playoff season, it's a new season. Like it really is because you teams go from maybe being the best team all year to then having to battle with things like injuries or like guys mentally clock out. And all of a sudden things starts to change and you know what who the ones that were the favorites are no longer the favorites and we end up having the most random final, whether it be football wise or in any sport that applies to everywhere. But on top of what I was saying, also like there was this whole storyline with Sam Darnold being the quarterback for Seattle. And everybody was rooting for this guy because obviously this guy has been in the league for a
The
reason.
dog story.
His story is crazy, right? Like he finally made it, right? Like this is a guy that nobody really was hyped about in his entire career, to be honest. He was never really like hyped up or anything. He was just kind of like your average Joe quarterback, going from team to team, kind of keeping his longevity through the league. And he goes from having the arguably the best season ever in Minnesota, and they let him go. And Seattle picks him up, and he just happened to fit the system. Like it's like I was telling everyone, like the reason why the Seahawks won was because they had the best system overall over any team. Like when I saw the game of them playing against the 49ers, the when they scored off rip in the kickoff, because of a fumble, I was like, yo, these boys ain't playing. Like these boys are sending a message right now and letting everybody know like we're going all the way and we're gonna go get this. Um, and then to go
Absolutely.
into kind of what Julio was saying, again, we have a lot of talk to talk about because we haven't been on the pod for a bit, so there's a lot to talk about. So diving into like the whole halftime show, like what I was saying about like there's people that have controversies. I'm not really talking about I guess like the politics that were going on. I there's theories going on, and I don't know. It kind of like almost feels true because again we know to a certain extent Bad Bunny and his plan for his halftime Super Bowl performance was to rebel. He wanted to send a message in some way or somehow. And he
Of
did it
course.
in multiple ways, believe it or not. Like he didn't do it aggressively, I would say, but in his performance there was a lot of signs. For both sides, right? Because, you know, there were signs of him basically saying like, "Hey, like I'm that guy and no matter what I do, I know I'm that guy," type of deal. And I've always said it about Bad Bunny, especially when early in his career, when he first started like really popping off. I always said it like Bad Bunny is the Hispanic version of Drake. Like he just has that effect.
He
He
has that
has it in
aura,
his
bro. Every
music.
time he releases music or an album, it,
It's a
it blows
hit.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
hit. So there's that, and then there's also the fact that, which I'm glad, obviously, that he didn't do, which obviously I was telling you guys while we were over there at the party and stuff like that. Um, que I'm glad he obviously came out as Benito and not Benita,
yeah.
because no, for real, for real, for real, like for real, like that is something
Yeah.
serious because you're talking about like this is a game that multiple generations are watching. Like, and I really think, and I really think someone at some point, I don't know if they told him directly or if they spoke to his team and his team kind of got to him and made him think about maybe calming down a little bit with how rebellious he really wanted to be and come out. And I really think they told him like, dude, we get how you feel. We're gonna allow certain things, but there's also certain things that are not gonna fly.
Yeah, which I think that's why ultimately the most he did was include the song, Yo Perreo Sola, which is the music video where he dressed up as a woman, but and then there's
But
also a small scene when there's two guys kind of like momentarily grinding
yeah,
on one
well,
another,
again,
but
like
again, that was the
how I was
most.
telling you, like
Se
there
portó
was
bien.
multiple things within his performance that I knew he was gonna do, right? He's, he's obviously expressed his beliefs, and everybody's allowed to, I guess, their beliefs. That you are who you are. But I definitely think, and this is where I feel like, obviously, like it's just that he's so big as a star that there's a lot of things that this guy could do and it doesn't affect him, which is a good and bad thing because you never want somebody to have, I guess, so much power, but what I'm trying to say is that he knows he has that type of power. So, but I do think, like, if you were to overview his career and, like, I guess critique him as a professional right now in his field, I do think he's gotten way too involved with the politics, and I think he's gotten lost in the sauce when it comes to that. To the point where he's even gotten caught in situations where he's had to take back some of the things he said. Like the whole thing, I get it. Like, you're proud where you're from, you're standing for your people, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then he had to get humbled, and he openly said, like, look, I basically apologize for what I've been pulling, but I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to be here.
Los ricos tan
Yeah.
cabrón. Hey,
So and then besides that, there's also the theories that again they just feel like they have a little bit of truth to it, right? Just like multiple theories at some point. But the whole thing that was happening with his audio, right? Like the whole muzzle thing effect or whatever. I really think he was doing that on purpose. Like I think that was part of him rebelling and doing what he wanted to do with the performance, which at the end of the day he was very vocal about that he was gonna do. I'm I would like to say that I think he's fully aware that he's never gonna perform in a halftime Super Bowl show again. So he said, you know what, like I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do it my way.
I mean, how many people have repeated Super
I
Bowl
think
performance?
Beyonce has. I think Beyonce has. Michael Jackson. Um, yeah, obviously crazy caliber names, but there has been repeats, and I don't think he never had the chance to be a repeat. But I would tell you that it's not gonna happen again because
Never say never,
I don't
but
know. But okay, and then yeah. Obviously, it was a kicking contest only for one side throughout the game. I think the kicker should have gotten the MVP of the game, to be honest. Um, but they weren't gonna do that because he's not a big time position player.
look, at the end of the day, the positive, at least for Patriots fans, is that you have a bright future with a young quarterback that
Oh
made
yeah,
it this
there's a
far.
lot of there's a lot of vets that want to come our way now. Max
And
Crosby
so
from the
yeah, so
Raiders
again,
wants to come over here.
the
AJ
future is.
Brown from the Eagles is dying to leave the Eagles, and he's voiced how he wants to be a Patriot.
Look, at the end of the day, the future is bright. I can't say the same thing about the Heat, who made the finals twice just to lose, and we never got better. If anything, we got worse. People started leaving, and Pat Riley apparently can't pull the trigger on any
Well,
trade.
I
So
think I think when it comes to the Heat though, like I really think the Heat are very strategic when it gets to coming down to the point where they say, you know what, like we're gonna pull the trigger and bring this guy over. And I'm starting to look. There's been a lot of talks with John Morant. There's been a lot of talks with Giannis. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't see either going to the Heat. Although Giannis fits the Heat culture, I don't see them going. You know who I see going to the Heat, and it would be a blockbuster move for them, and it would probably be the biggest move in new gen basketball. I I honestly think there's a shot for Anthony Edwards to land in Miami. He
Which
fits.
again, that would be crazy. But there's one thing that I've done my research on it a little bit, and when it comes to the Heat, I learned that the Heat only do trades for the most part if it's a win-win for them, not
Yeah,
a win,
but
not a
that's
win-loss. Like if you
but
look at
that's what I'm saying. So
like if
with
you look at
both,
teams, if you look at teams, every trade that they do, they're gaining something, but they're losing something vital. Maybe a role player, a bench player, a starter who's young and up and
yeah,
coming,
but
but's not quite there yet. The Heat, when we got LeBron, you know who the Heat lost? Michael Beasley. Again,
yeah, but
when we got Shaq, we gave up Lamar Odom before he became six man Lamar Odom.
yeah,
Again,
but what I'm saying is I'm not telling you they're gonna get him right now. They're doing the same thing that they basically voiced about Giannis. They're gonna wait until the guy's a free agent, which he is next year or the year after. Uh,
Anthony?
yeah, his
There's no
rookie
way.
contract, his
No,
rookie
bro, he
contract
signed
got
he
ended.
signed an extension, fool.
He did.
Yeah, like maxed out. Hold on.
All right, here we go.
Let
I
me let
might.
me stat check my dog Juan here real
Yeah,
quick.
please do. Maybe it was Eddie's influence. I was talking about it with him today.
Oh no, Babo. You know how many times I have to correct Eddie and he'll be like, for real, Jay? Dang.
Look, Anthony Edwards contract. Anthony Edwards is signed to a
He doesn't
5 year.
become a free agent until the summer of 2029, fool.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, definitely I fell into the magic juice of Eddie,
He signed
and
a
he
rookie scale extension in 2023 valued at $260 million.
yeah, no, the guy's making bread.
And Stephen A. Smith says it best. He's out there playing like the man is broke.
Yeah, that's part of the conversation, and obviously to let you guys know, I called Julio when this conversation was happening, which is gonna bring up another topic, but we're gonna get there eventually. Um, I was having this conversation with my coworker today, which you guys know now as Eddie. Um,
Shout out to
I
Eddie.
I told him because he was being vocal about like who's the next face of the NBA, right? And that's been a very popular conversation that's been coming up as of lately. And quite frankly, what I told him was this: like, look, unfortunately, it's still LeBron, and that's why LeBron needs to leave.
Mm,
Listen. Before you say anything, listen. LeBron is still the face of the NBA, okay? And Moncada's gonna want to love and record this video because, by the way, that's still an episode that's pending, and you guys are gonna want to stay tuned for that. Bro, go,
I don't
bro.
think LeBron is the face of the NBA. I just think he is the most popular person in the NBA at this
Okay,
point. It's a
okay,
popularity contest.
okay, yes, but that is part of what it is to be the face of the NBA. And arguably so, he has a scoring title. We know the stats are history. And he's gonna go in the history books for his own respective fans, etc. But he is the current face of the NBA, whether you want to admit it or not. And until he doesn't step out, there's not gonna be anybody that replaces him. There's candidates because the second that he steps out, people are gonna start turning heads to Curry. People are gonna start turning heads to Giannis. People, but you're
Este
dude,
perro me abrió la puerta de nuevo, dog.
you're not allowing me to get the points across, and you're not listening.
Papa, the
You're
whole
just
point of a
hearing.
podcast is to go at it with
You're,
one
you're
another,
just
bro. And I'm
hearing.
telling you,
Which I get it. I get it. So this is where I'm gonna continue.
I'm not gonna be like,
To,
ay, ¿qué te dije,
this is
Juan?
where I'm gonna continue to throw it at your damn face. All right? Because now you got me mad. Now I'm getting tight.
Empíngate.
So
¿Qué me importa?
the point that you just said was the exact point that I told Eddie. I understand Curry's age. I don't see Giannis anymore as the face of the NBA.
Mm-mm.
I thought at one point maybe he had a shot. A popular name that has rung a couple, bells has been Luca. But to me, Luca has to take a drastic step on the defensive end. He is clearly an overpowered offensive threat. But if he wants to really take on the face of the league type of deal challenge, he definitely has to step up his defensive game. So hindsight, Eddie was, which again we know Eddie, right? You and I know, and
Very
because
well.
he watched the game between the Pistons and the Spurs the other day, which brings up another topic, but I'm gonna get to that now. But he was saying like he sees somebody like a Cade Cunningham potentially being the face of the NBA, and I told him like, look, no disrespect, like he's got game, but I don't even think he sees himself in that position.
I would pick
Um,
Wemby over him,
Not exactly. A valid name to bring
or
up,
even
right?
SGA.
N- Yeah. Yeah. Hold on.
The what
Look,
hurts
look,
SGA
listen,
is
listen.
the
Hold on,
foul
hold on,
bullshit.
hold on. This is where we're getting to what I'm gonna about to say. And I'm saying I've said this multiple times. I really think the next face of the NBA, if he remains the way that he is, and he remains healthy for the longevity wise, I really think the next face of the NBA is Anthony Edwards. I think he is the complete package. He's explosive, he's aggressiveness, he has the charisma, he talks his shit, he lets you know how he's gonna.
So
What?
no. So n- now that you're talking about this, so that, people want to listen to this. So I want to bring up stats for the three. So I have here the stats pulled up for Anthony, for Luca, and for Shea. Let's start off with ages. Anthony Edwards is 24. Luca is 26. SGA is 27. Points per game. SGA is averaging right now 31.8, and
Yeah, he's having a monster time in his game.
he's shooting 55% from the field and 39% from the three.
He didn't get the MVP award for no reason. The guy's a monster.
Luca is averaging 32.5 points.
Yeah, he's an offensive machine.
He's shooting 35% from the three, 47% from the field. But then you got Anthony Edwards, the youngest out of all of them. He is averaging 30 points per game. He is shooting 40% from the three and 50% from the field. Mind you, and he's taking less field goals and threes than these two cats.
Yeah, because his game is different. His game is
And again,
different.
he's
He's
averaging
more
30
versatile.
at 24. Luca did not average 30. No, bullshit. Luca averaged 30 when he was 23.
No, yeah, Luka was a monster. Again,
And
offensively,
SGA 24 also. So he's
yeah.
already showing that he's exploding around the same age as these cats. But I don't know, bro. It's just something like when you see him play, he's like a mixture of, I want to say, maybe like explosive wise as LeBron, but he backs up his game like Kobe type of shit. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
nice.
which again, it's been a conversation before. Like this isn't just things that we're making up here. Like multiple sports sources have talked about this. It's been on ESPN. Everybody has talked about it at some point, and it's gonna be a constant topic, especially the more and more the closer we get to LeBron finally leaving the league. Um, but as far as Anthony Edwards, like the guy wasn't getting comparisons to Jordan for no reason. It's like I said, he has the swagger that Jordan would carry on himself. I'm not here making any statements that he's gonna be anywhere close to Jordan or who knows. He's only 24 years old. Um, but I will say he has the swagger, he has the character, he has the game, and he's popular. That is four things that the face of the NBA carries at all time.
You want to laugh right now? So I asked Chat, who are the top five players that might be the next, face of the NBA? Number five, Jason Tatum. Hell no.
No, I think Jason Tatum, like he's a great player, but dude, like unfortunately the injuries have started to kick in.
Number four, SGA.
Yeah, yeah, because again, SGA is a great player, but he again he's not vocal how Anthony Edwards is. Like Anthony Edwards is gonna get in your face and he's gonna tell you, you know what? I beat you 2 days ago. Guess what? You're back. You're about to take this L again.
And what doesn't help them either in OKC is all the ticky tack fouls that they get, but we've already talked about that, and it is what it is. Number 3 is Luca. Number 2 is Anthony Edwards. Can you guess what number 1 is?
Giannis, Wemby. Yeah, again, it's
But I'm also looking at Wemby's stats.
no. Again, look, listen. I'm not taking it from Wemby. Wemby is
That's
a
crazy.
freak of nature. And he has a different style. Like
Want me to read you his stats real quick?
No, I know the guy's a monster. The guy's an
22
alien.
years old, averaging 25 points with 3 blocks.
I know. He's having a stellar season. The Spurs are, my guy. The Spurs are not in number 2 in the West for no reason.
I know.
Which again, all right. So now we're gonna transition the conversation into two different things. There's a lot of people that are noticing around the league that they're liking because they're starting to notice that little by little, it seems like the level of physicality is starting to come back into the league. Um, there's been multiple fights this year. There's been multiple moments where people are, players are going at it. They're talking smack. Like this is what people like, right? Like
bro.
these teams and like basketball, the NBA, it's sports and entertainment. You can't forget the entertainment part. People watch these things because they want to be entertained. Yeah, you could be a fan, you could love the sport and everything, but at the end of the day, you're watching it because it's entertaining. It gets your attention. So
And again, I feel like this will only grow more as LeBron leaves because LeBron brought that whole "let's be friends" era
yes,
with
but
him.
so look, so listen what I'm gonna touch up on. So this year, the league did something that is causing already a lot of controversy and a lot of different, I guess, points of view, however you wanna view it. Um, you gotta, I like this conversation because you gotta get really analytical here, and you really gotta see, okay, like this is something that we're talking about is gonna change the direction of the future of the NBA. Like it's that good. It's that good of a conversation that we're about to jump into. So what I'm talking about is the league implemented this year. I guess you could say like um how do I put it to you? Uh an extra version, I guess, of the DMP rule, like that a player could basically not play if they don't feel like it. But before, it was more saturated in the sense of like, okay, like if you got to this limit, you're getting fined. So you gotta play eventually. You can't just sit out to sit out. Now that has changed. This year, what I just said has changed. That's no longer the case. These guys could sit out, quite frankly, whenever they feel like it. Like just the other day, Curry sat out, and they basically put under his name that which is I guess a penalty that the league kind of like mixed into this version of this rule. So there's X amount of games that you can miss to the point where you're no longer
You don't qualify for the
eligible
All
for
NBA
awards.
team, the
Yeah, you're
awards.
no,
Yeah.
which I really think some of these players that are trying to rebel, because I really think some of these guys are sitting out on purpose. And I think they're doing it to kind of tell the league, like, I don't care what you put in front of me as far as that dumb rule. I'm going to do whatever I feel like it. Now, this is where the conversation now is going to translate into how much of your greatness do you really care about? Because that's really what it's going to come down to. Because when you start noticing that you can't get X amount of awards, and it starts to affect your money in your pockets as far as when it comes to these guys, because they do get bonuses when they make the all team. It's part of their
Hmm.
contract as an extra bonus. If they make X amount of shots, they get a bonus. If they make the playoffs, if they win the championship, they all have different things in their contracts that if they accomplish, they get a big boost. So it really comes down to the question of like, how great do you want to be, and what are you willing to sacrifice and continue to do to get there? Like, what is your greatness type of deal? Like, that's what the conversation really comes about now.
No,
So
yeah, I mean,
this rule, I don't know how long it's gonna last. There's a lot of questions right now raising to Adam Silver, and I think in the summer there's gonna be a lot of serious conversations. And to
mm,
go back to the
I see it
physicality,
different.
hold on. To go back to the physicality level of things that we were talking about, I'm bringing it up because obviously, like again, that he got into a fight the other day with the Grizzlies, with Scottie Pippen's son. Um, the game between the Spurs and the Pistons was very physical. Arguably one of the most physical games that we've experienced in the past few seasons. I do think the All Star game this year was a bit more competitive. I think they all had a desire to win, and um, Anthony Edwards, funny enough, said Wemby set the tone. Wemby got the ball, he shot it in front of your face, and he said, "I'm gonna do it again." Then after that, he got the ball and he dunked it with his long ass arms like nothing. So, um, I really think these guys are getting to the point where it's like I think they're taking it personal. What all the greats that are out of the game have been saying, like about how the game is so soft. You guys are so soft that you guys would never survive in our era. That is the argument. You guys wouldn't stand a chance if you played against us in our time. And I think they're getting to the point where they're channeling it. They're trying to show people like, you know what? Bet we're gonna show you we can do both. Um,
So
Hold on, because there's a lot. There's a lot. Sorry, there's a lot. There's a lot.
I
There's a
just want to
lot.
add one. I just want to add
All
a
right, go,
one
bro.
take to
Go, go,
something.
go.
You said a whole thing about players sitting out as much as they want to, whatever. So the way I see it is, these older cats like Kawhi, Joel Embiid, who fell out of the face of this earth,
Yeah, I haven't heard about Joel Embiid
Giannis,
in a while. Actually, now that you
uh,
mention his name.
all of these people. I think the reason that rule was made is so that we can already start forgetting about these old guys who've been in the league for a minute and get let these young bucks like take the bull by the horns type of thing.
Yeah, but how old is Joel Embiid? I don't think he's that old. He was the MVP of the league at one point.
Joel Embiid is the biggest scam artist to me of all time. He started the whole bullshit of trust the process and Philadelphia, we're gonna get a championship y esto y lo otro. Pero cuando el tipo ese firmó el contratico of all those millions, he says, espérate, this all guarantee whether I play or not. Y el tipo se puso a sentarse en el banco con Rosita Maíz y comer
Yeah.
mierda. Because, mind you, at one point, everybody said he was the best center, MVP front runner.
Well, yeah. I mean, eventually he did get the MVP.
The last time I heard of Joel Embiid is when he fell on the floor. He started doing that whole act, and that's it. Never heard from that guy again. So at the end of the day, I think maybe that's why the league allowed it. And like you said, I don't think it'll last long. I think they did this so that the old players can phase out, and then all these All NBA teams and defensive teams all become new names that we haven't really seen or heard of in a while.
Which
And
is
it's
a
the way the league of exiting out these
it's a
cats.
valid point. It's a valid point because, bro, like when I tell you there's the league right now, as far as the NBA, is in such a good position when it comes to the young talent that's
For the
currently in the
future.
league for the future. Um, like wow, like there's so many good players out there right now, and so many different teams that it's like it's a good spot, I guess, for the NBA to be in, and I think they realize that. So yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that the league is in good hands once these guys step out and phase out. Um, but what I was saying previously in regards to the physicality, and this is where I'm gonna bring in one of the topics that I was talking about today with my coworker. Um, the Pistons are the number one team in the East for a reason.
Yeah, because your bros are sucking.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Well, again, that's the conversation that we've always had between the West always being the heavier conference. Like the East has always been the weaker conference. Right? Which that jumps into a whole different realm of conversations that we could sit here and have. Like the fact that you could make the argument that LeBron maintained himself in the East for so long, and that's the reason why he ended up winning so many championships. Well, he won 4 out of 9, but um, and to go to what we were talking about the Pistons, I really think the legends that played for that organization because again, teams do this all the time, right? They bring in these mentors, they bring in these guys to kind of set the tone, right? And I really think this young Pistons team is channeling their inner bad boy Piston era. Because boy, they are physical, they are gritty, and they score the ball well.
I just
So
hope that this season is not a fluke like the Cavs did last year and
right, right.
bamboozled
Which
everyone.
I don't see it. I I do think the Pistons, in my opinion, are the favorite to come out of the East. And I do think they're gonna go all the way this year. Which then goes to the conversation that I'm about to bring up. Is it a lock in the Western Conference of things to say, and it's that for it to be safe to say that the Western Conference final is gonna be Oklahoma and San Antonio? And I am with it. I really don't see anybody else in the Western Conference final but those two teams, unless go back to what I said. The playoffs is a brand new season.
Hmm.
The Spurs are very young. Yes, they're on a high note. They're playing very well, but the playoffs are a different animal. You're gonna have to go through the first round. You're gonna have to go through the second round. You're gonna have to go through the third round, and then you finally get to the dance, if you get there. My pick, and you know this, I've been an advocate about this before the season even started. And mind you, I'm a Lakers fan. I think Oklahoma's gonna go back to back. There's no doubt in my mind. And the reason why I say that is because just look at what happened the other day when they played the Cavs. Mind you, the Cavs have James Harden now. Different conversation, but still a crazy offensive threat that they added over there. And they played against Oklahoma with their full roster. The Cleveland Cavaliers had their full roster. All their starters were there. Their full bench was there. And Oklahoma was playing without the MVP, SGA, without their second, arguably some say first best player on the team, which is Robert Williams, and their best defender on the court, Caruso. And they still won. They still won, Julio. They are so freaking deep that they
You,
still won.
you're gonna hear it here first, bro. I think the finals this year is going to be. You're gonna call me crazy, but I have said crazier things before. How about a Knicks and Spurs final?
No, no.
Alright, look, I've seen it in the
I
past
think you
before.
could. I
Wait,
think. I think
time
the
out. I've seen it before in the past. In playoffs, it doesn't matter the team you have, it's who's the healthiest and who's the hottest.
which that's what I was saying as far as like understanding that when you enter the playoffs, it's a brand new season.
The Heat were not expected to be anything other than an AFC team that escaped into the playoffs, and they made it all the way to the freaking finals.
Okay,
Who
but
can say
what
that
I'm
the Knicks out of nowhere become the hottest team in the world, and then Victor Wembanyama says, you know what, I'm gonna take it to the next step in the playoffs.
okay, but I'm not disagreeing with you in the sense of what you're talking about the Knicks. I again, the Knicks were fairly close last season. They made it all the way to, I believe, the conference final, if I'm not wrong.
Right, they lost to the Pacers, which are in
Yeah,
last place, by the way.
yeah. So what?
Pacers are in last place, and they made it
Yes.
to the finals
No.
last year.
Again,
The
there,
Halliburton effect.
Yup. Exactly what I was gonna say. But what the Halliburton? Where'd you go? Where'd you go,
Halliburton, no?
Halliburton? But anyway,
Everybody was making fun of my dog, but ain't nobody making fun of him now,
the
huh?
Knicks, the Knicks have a really nice squad. I'm not taking that from them. I'm not taking that from them at all. Now, the reason why I could see them coming out of the East, maybe being the team that upsets the Knicks. I mean, sorry, the Pistons. I could. That could arguably so be the conference final, unless the Celtics have something to say about it. Because the Celtics just somehow, some way, always mingle their way to get in the way of something, and they went to 7 last year. The Knicks and the Celtics.
No.
So, and Jason Tatum is back now. So, I don't know. But I will say, Julio, I just don't see anybody beating the Thunder. And as far as like going deep in the playoffs, ultimately, if they face them in the championship, because when you have 23-year-olds and 22-year-olds together playing the way that they're playing, and
Yeah, it's tough.
and hold on, because Chet Holmgren, their center's 23 years old, and after they won the championship, they interviewed him the next day, and you know what he said? He's like, nobody's comfortable here. Nobody feels like we've done anything. Like we want to get to the point where we want to build the dynasty. That's not normal, regular vocabulary for a 23-year-old and a young squad. That's a different way to move.
You know who's the most veteran player?
Is it Caruso or is it the yeah, I know. But,
A
Ca-
30-year-old.
yeah, but and he's still young, 30 years old. Hello. I'm 29.
Yeah, but Caruso knows his role in that team.
Yeah, but hold on though. Because Caruso, listen, when Caruso was on the Lakers and everybody was making fun of him, I was that man's biggest hype man. Like, I was telling people, this guy, you better look out for him because he's a problem. He really is. He's a big problem because not only can he play stellar defense, but he could score the ball if he wants to.
If he wants to, yeah, I'm saying. Lo mismo que he drops 20, que you're not scoring.
But when he got signed by OKC, which fun fact,
He signed, he get traded.
that was traded. Sorry, but in other words, they got to sign a contract. Um, Fun fact: Caruso actually got drafted. Well, actually, no, he went undrafted and he went to the G League and he played for the Thunder's G League team for a while. So that was the storyline of when they won the championship. They put both pictures up of him in the G League and of him now back as a champion. And I'm telling you right now, bro, you cannot convince me that if Oklahoma is healthy and they continue playing at this level, that they're not going to go back to back.
Look, bro, I'm not denying that. With you, I'm just letting you know that I'm always a big believer in underdog stories. And as much as I'm not a fan of New York teams, I do like the New York Knicks team itself because I am a big fan of Jalen Brunson. I think the guy's just nice overall. Not a big fan of Cat, but they have a pretty solid team. The Celtics are always going to be a problem because they're a heavy team, which I've already discussed before. That team might break up after this year because, quite frankly, they're over the luxury tax and something has to give on that team. Um, but hey, man, let's see. I'm gonna go with my crazy prediction. I am gonna say that it's gonna be Knicks
Spurs.
And Spurs.
Damn,
But
so you have the
realistically,
Spurs
if
upsetting Oklahoma. That is that again. It's such a nice matchup that and hold on now. And you can stat check me on this as well, unless somebody else fooled me when I was having this conversation with them. Um, the Spurs have a better record against the Thunder. They're 3-1 against them.
correct.
So
But
it seems like the Spurs have the Thunder's number.
I mean,
Like
mind you, they have Wemby, they have De'Aaron Fox, they have Harrison Barnes, which that's where you get your veteranness out of. You have
which
Harrison.
Which actually brings me to another point that we were talking about today. Actually, there's the situation where the Spurs they're so good right now that they're gonna have a hard time keeping that band together because
Yeah,
eventually
I
you're
mean,
gonna have to pay some of these guys.
yeah, you
And
have a lot of rookies.
The Spurs are not a big market team. Yeah, they've been relevant, but they're not that big of a market team, and they have picks. So it's kind of like you're in such a good situation where it's like, what do you do, right? What do you do? Because your young talent is your feeder, and they're doing so well right now. But you also have your fair share of small to little vets there that are also contributing at a bigger scale. So it's kind of
Oh,
like as
you
an
also have
organization,
Castle. I forgot Castle. Castle's
yeah,
nice.
as an organization, you get to the point where like you can't just leave your picks there hanging. So you're gonna have to be forced to make a decision as far as like, okay, do we trade the picks to bring in a missing piece that we feel we need? Or do we use the picks and continue to bring in more young talent?
That's something that I guess we'll have to wait and see, but I do think that the Spurs are gonna be a problem no matter what for the next 2 3 years. And again, playoff time, like look at Anthony Edwards. Everyone knew that he was, a good young player in the league, and then that first like taste he had of playoffs, that's when everyone realized like, oh man, like this dude's a problem. And then where have they gone from there? They've only gotten better. Obviously, the organization knows that they're within a year or two where they have to make that big push, or if not, they're gonna see Anthony Edwards rock when in the summer of '29.
Fun fact, by the way, and it's what was strengthening the argument or the vision as far as seeing Anthony Edwards in a Heat jersey in the future.
God, may your words speak into existence.
Fun fact: he has a great connection with Erik Spoelstra, and Erik Spoelstra just got named as the head coach for Team USA
in the summer of 28 Olympics in LA.
So I'm telling you right now, please, if this happens, somebody has to come back to this video and just watch me saying these type of things.
But look at this abysmal lineup he has. It's Anthony Edwards, then you have Julius Randle, you have Jaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert, and Devin. I like DiVincenzo. I've told you this before.
He came from the Knicks.
I think he's nice.
He's a shooter. He's nice.
He's nice.
Yeah.
But other than that, then after that you have.
Yeah. No, they're definitely not deep in the bench.
Mike Conley. That guy's still in the league.
Yeah. He actually went back. He got traded at one point from over there.
But anywho, dude,
listen.
Let's go into the topic you really want to discuss.
Yes.
NBA wise.
Yes.
Just start up already because after this topic, I want to get into the last one. That's gonna be a banger, and then call it a day, bro. But
all right. So
look, guys, I need you to listen to this crazy theory. I'm gonna give you the floor, Juan. And once you say everything you're gonna say, I'm gonna give my 10 cents.
Okay, cool. So first of all, before I introduce this next topic to you guys, which by the way, go ahead and like, subscribe because I don't know, this has been a great episode so far, and again, we're only gonna continue to grow as much as you guys allow us to grow. So if you haven't done so, go ahead and like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about our channel, please, and we appreciate all the support. But before I go into the topic, I want everybody to take a look at what I'm pointing at right now on the screen. I want everybody to focus that, once again, I am the biggest supporter of arguably the future best league in the sport, which is the WNBA. Shout out to the New York Liberty. Shout out to Sabrina Ionescu and all the ballers that are out there playing for the Liberty. They just won the championship. I know it gets Julio rattled up when I say things like this, so it was kind of more for him than it was for me. Which hold on. Actually, there comes a sneaky topic that's really quick. I'm not gonna take too long on it. The Unrivaled League, for those that know about it, is a very viral sensation that has exploded. It's a 3v3 full court women's league that actually gets played fairly local to where Julio and I live. It's fairly local. It's done by Medley. And that league, whoever's operating that league knows what they're doing, to the point where I want to make the argument that I think whoever's running that league has the chance, and listen to what I'm about to say, has a chance to dethrone the WNBA and be the new league that the NBA takes to partner up with. Why do I say that? They just broke records this season, and they had to play their games in actual arenas, and they gathered over 20,000 fans. They literally gathered more fans in one game than any WNBA game has ever gotten. That is a key thing to pay attention to, folks, because I'm telling you right now, I am predicting that whoever's running that league Either the WNBA is gonna hire them, or they're gonna partner up to bring that league and be part of the NBA as far as a partner. So again, going into the real topic that Julio was mentioning, I want to call this topic Juan eyeing the Klay Thompson situation. Why is Juan eyeing the Klay Thompson situation? For those of you that don't live under a rock, know that Klay Thompson clearly, left the Warriors, went to the Dallas Mavericks. And I keep telling people, arguably so, the reason why he went to Dallas was because he thought Luka was going to be a lifer there. There was no doubt in that man's brain or his agent that Luka was a no-brainer. He was going to be a Maverick for life. We all thought he was. There was no argument. Until we know what happened, which as a Lakers fan, I'm not going to be upset about it because he currently is a Laker. But arguably one of the worst decisions, trades in the history of the NBA got made. Where obviously Luka is a Laker, Anthony Davis became a Maverick, which Anthony Davis now got traded again, and he went to the Wizards, which brings my conversation of Juan eyeing the Klay Thompson situation. Why am I eyeing the Klay Thompson situation? Guys, clearly Klay Thompson is not happy in Dallas, especially when Luka got taken from him. It was pretty much a like, damn, like, what? What just happened here? What type of Uno reverse card you just pulled on me? So, for those of you that don't know, my man's Klay has been playing at an all-star level, and I'm not talking about only on the court. If you get what my drift.
No, it's only off the court, not on the court.
My man Klay Thompson is dating none other than Megan Thee Stallion. And some say they even got secretly married already. Like, that's how good and great their relationship is going, which I'm happy for them. You never want to wish bad on anybody when it comes to a relationship, especially with your partner and things like that. Like, that's weird if you wish something bad upon somebody like that. But anyway, to not get lost in the sauce, which is
no
pun intended. Hold on, no pun intended. No pun intended. By the way, we're not getting lost in the sauce. But anyway. So, for those of you that don't know, I coach in real life. I love it. It's something that I enjoy. I like sports. Quite frankly, I'm in love with sports. Don't fall asleep on me, dog. You're gonna love what I'm gonna say, dog. I've always told my players at one point when they're getting lost in the sauce when it comes to the females, I've always told them when we have certain tournaments or when we have certain games, and you're talking about either playoff or championship type of games, I tell them all the time, hey man, I need you to focus on the right pair of basketballs that I need you to dribble. Because it's very, very easy to get lost in the sauce and start messing with the wrong type of basketballs if you catch my drift when it comes to trying to win these games and win championships. All right? So, I think Klay wants out of Dallas. I think clearly he's unhappy. Now, you're asking me, well, Juan, like, where's he going to go? Who's going to bother signing this guy? He's kind of old. His game hasn't been there. He's been inconsistent. And I have a couple predictions. Look, the obvious says, you know what? The Warriors have no love lost and they take him back as a sixth man. We know Klay is not going to be a starter anywhere he goes unless he goes to a really low market team. So if he does go to a contender, he's going to be like a six-man type of deal, which is fine. It's fair. It's up to Klay to decide where he wants to go at that point. So the Warriors are one of my predictions. I would argue that the Wizards, which have money, they're a low market team. They need to be relevant to a certain level. They just signed Trae Young. They just got Anthony Davis. Yes, Anthony Davis is always hurt, but regardless, Anthony Davis is considered a big name. Let's say you add Klay to the Wizards. Now you have a really good point guard. Klay could start in the Wizards. He could be their starting shooting guard. And then you have Anthony at the 5 or the 4, wherever he wants to play. The other team that I have predictions for Clay, and here's where Julio was kind of laughing a little bit because there's a fun fact here, guys. There really is. I love getting analytical and I love looking at things from a different perspective with the current situation. And like I said, he's dating Megan Thee Stallion, whether they're married or not, whatever. Point blank, they're together. Fun fact: it makes zero sense as to why Clay would be unhappy in Dallas because Megan Thee Stallion's from Texas. She's from Houston. So, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, brings up my other. Nah, don't do me like that. You know I'm on one. You know I'm on one. Whoever watches this stuff is gonna love this episode because this has been really good. But Megan is from Houston, and guess what? Guess who's in Houston? KD, former teammate of Klay Thompson. The Rockets are the fourth seed in the West, so they're highly competitive. They just signed well, they didn't just sign him. They got him last year, Udoka, which was the former Celtics coach, which got fired for the funny business that he pulled with the female. Um, say Clay says, you know what? I know my chick is happy, but I really want to make her happy. How can I do that? Well, I'm gonna make her really happy, and I'm gonna go play for her hometown. And I think it's valid to say that Clay could sign with the Rockets.
All right, so to end your theory here, Doug, Klay Thompson is 35 years old, coming off the bench, shooting 38% from the field, 36% from threes, and he's averaging 10 points per game. Wherever he goes is irrelevant. If he goes to Houston, it's going to be to do this. Mira. Porque mira, he's made his money. He's made his case as one of the best three-point shooters of all time. He has his rings. Wherever he goes now, es para pasar el rato.
Okay, I'm gonna bring you a good one. Would you like to have him in Miami?
No.
Okay, cool.
He's a more injury-prone, less consistent version of Tyler Hero.
Okay, but
and I want Tyler Hero off the team.
Let's say hypothetically speaking, the Heat get to the point where they could do something of how they did with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh.
Old want him as a Ray Allen. You're not playing more than.
But that's what I'm telling you. But that's where I'm taking the conversation.
But he needs to be willing to accept his role. I don't even think he's accepted his role coming off the bench.
Yeah, no. Well,
Ray Allen knew. Like,
I
Ray,
really think the frustration with him comes from the fact that, it's valid. I would be livid too if I came to play at Dallas
for Luka, and
a
Luka
season from now, Luka is gone. I would be livid. I would be livid.
Pero, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I know the episode's been quite long, and you have to hear Juan's nonsense.
Not that long. But being dramatic. This is usually our time frame.
So the last thing I want to talk about is, I know we talk about here about video games every now and then, and I always say that MLB The Show is probably the best sports game out of all the sports games. But I am here to let the world know that as of recently, I started playing NBA 2K at GameShare, one of my buddies. And he said, bro, just download the game and play it. It was me and him for just a while. And then, I got Juan over here to play. And we found out there's like another 3 of our friends that play. Anthony, Neftali, Brian. So, NBA 2K, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Juan, is a really fun, good game. However, when I first got the game, then my guy was a 60 overall. My dude was a straight bum. But I refused to give 2K real life money for their virtual coins to boost up my guy. So again, I could have been open from the 3 and I would have airballed that bitch. I could have been open for a layup. My guy wouldn't dunk nor score the layup. So when Juan started playing, and Juan saw the game was on Game Pass, and I saw that from one day to the next, Juan's an 85 overall.
Échale salsón, baby.
So I said, you know what? Who cares? I just got a new job. Things are different now. I'm gonna buy $20 of virtual coin.
You made a lot of happy people with that decision, by the way.
Yo, guess what now? I'm a problem. I'm a problem. Let's start off with this. I went from a guy who couldn't make it through to save his life to now I hit bangers. And then the other day, Juan, what was your line when you saw me dunk in the game?
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. The first thing I said is like, he dunks now?
He dunks now. And now
Yeah.
every time I dunk in the game, all you hear Juan say is, yeah, he dunks now.
Yo, insane. Like, for real. Like, which, by the way, like, at some point, we're going to stream ourselves playing.
But yeah.
So stay tuned for that. And the question is, by the way, Julio, are you going to get on after this? Because I have my screen on
look.
right now. I have the game on.
After this, I'm going to go shower. I'm going to make sure my son is fully fed. And when he goes to sleep, I'll see if I sneak in for an hour.
Here we go.
Oh,
Here
yeah.
we go.
It
You
was
guys see
either
what I gotta
podcast
do?
or play.
You
And we
guys see
picked
what I gotta
podcast
do?
because we owe the people a podcast. But the next time we coordinate a play, guys, I will live stream it.
But,
So you guys can see that. No problem. And then you guys are going to see how Juan over here. Juan's a special person in 2K, dog. Oh, Juan, dog. We should have not got on this topic so late, bro. Hey, guys, Juan.
You're acting like you have a gun pointed to your head right now. Calm down. Enjoy it. Be careful what you say, because I know what you're gonna say. Be careful what
Y el tipo
That
se
party
puso
shot.
chistoso, went on YouTube, y un YouTuber said, put this style of shot y esto y lo otro. My dog Juan started doing this. Juan, hey, no lie, guys. We played like 5 games in a row where Juan went like 0 for 12.
Scary times, people.
And
Scary
wait,
times.
and not just that. For those of you who are unfamiliar with 2K, when you're playing my career mode, your guy does whatever the hell he wants on the court. When you play online and people have certain badges, you have a little meter that shows up and it shows green. But if someone gets near you, they fuck up with the meter and it'll cause you to miss the layup. To this day does not understand that and Juan wants to do what Kobe did when he dunked on 3 people. Guess what happened? He misses a dunk, he gets blocked, whatever the case is, and then Juan loves to go for the cookie jar. And it's always reach and foul, reach and foul, reach and foul. And then you're there playing defense, you're trying not to get scored on, you get the rebound, all you hear is, I'm gone. And you literally look up and Juan's out underneath the basketball and I look,
But am I not?
hey,
Am I
I'm
not
open.
gone? Am I not gone?
Yeah, Bubba, but a lot of times when you do that, let's say the team gets the rebound, guess what? While Juan's standing underneath the rim, his guy shooting mid on open 3. Laced.
All right.
Don't get me
So-
wrong, Juan fixed his shot. He went back to being a regular player.
Yo.
But let me tell you guys, those 2 days where it was, I was already telling
Scary
him, Bubba,
times.
send an email to
Scary-
2K and be like,
scary
give me a
hours.
refund.
No. Definitely scary hours when that situation happened. Thankfully, I was able to delete those settings, and it kind of, in a funny way, resurrected my player.
It got so bad that Juan would have an open 3 and he would pump fake. My guy was doing this to attract the defender to see if he can drive to the lane.
Yo, all right, bro. They get it. Okay. We
Me la
experienced.
tengo que desquitar, bro.
Uy.
Because I was like, this dude spent fucking 30, 40, I don't know how much, and trying to make his guy freaking 99 overall, and you're pump faking an open 3.
Okay, all right. My turn.
Alright.
So
Ya me la desquité.
before I get into the gist of things and
Oh,
touch up
Pablo.
on what Julio was talking about, I'd like to give a shout out to Gallego for the build. He knows who he is. The build it's really good when it's at its peak and how it's supposed to be, which is what it is right now. Like Julio said, his guy's a problem, but I'm a problem as well. Like
When I shoot the ball, you know what you see?
green, we hit those. But anyway, so yeah, my guy is back. Just to tell y'all, and to make the record clear here, I spent $50 on VC. All right.
The pump fake a 3.
Uh, so that's why those scary hours were really scary hours when that was going down. Like I tried to fuck around and found out, and I found out. So I found out to not mess with too many things and just stick to what works, right? If it ain't fixed, don't break it, right? So we're back now. That's the important thing.
We're back. We
Uh,
went on a 4-game winning streak the other night. You know,
which again,
things are
shout out to
great.
Gallego because he brought out his build that is all over overall. So we're getting great matchups.
But you know what? Even though we gave credit where it's due, my dog be taking some stupid ass shots sometimes, dog.
See, that's a different conversation, and that's where I've talked to him multiple times. I really think like sometimes like when Gallego be pulling what he be pulling on 2K, all that goes into my head is the song that goes like "Hello darkness, my old
You know
friend."
what I'm gonna try to do, Juan? I'm gonna end the podcast like this. I'm gonna try and get Gallego, me, you, Brian, and Gian to play. But not only play, I'm gonna live stream the game, but I'm gonna connect it to the Discord chat. Because there's nothing funnier than when Gian calls Gallego a piece of shit. Because he be doing some stupid ass shit in the game.
But it's
And then
like
Gallego goes silent.
no, but hold on.
Gallego's 0 for 5.
Yeah,
Gallego
yeah,
drew
no,
the
no.
3. Ha, hey, binga! Gallego, we're down
People,
15, dog.
Gian gets in his head, dog. He gets
Oh, because
he
it's
goes
frustrating. You
he
have
goes
a
evil.
hand in your face, and Gallego's,
Yeah.
yo, like,
Okay.
literally.
Okay, very true. Gallego Gallego does have challenging times where sometimes you question what he's doing in 2K. And it's kind of like I understand where Gion's frustration is coming from, but I ain't gonna hold Gion to it. Cause my dog Gion brought out a new build the other day that we were playing with. And I'm sorry, but the man had a blindfold. And so did you. Because I was wide open in the corner 50 out of 50 times. And Gian was
Why
getting
are we gonna give you
disrespectful.
the ball for?
Gian was getting disrespectful. Hold on. Gian was getting disrespectful because he was straight up telling me, like, oh, Juan, I know you were wide open. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm trying to build this new build. It's like, yo, are we trying to win here? Or what are we trying to do, dog? Like, come
Oh,
on,
you left
dog.
the man paranoid when you were pump faking threes, dog. I don't know what to
I know,
tell
I
you.
understand I caused trauma in a lot of people's heads after those 2 days of performances where again, I fucked around and found out, and I fixed it. I brought him back. All right,
I'm a problem. That's all
he
I
is
know.
the machine that he is now, and I love the way my player plays. Obviously, I know you love the way your player plays now because, by the way, let me tell y'all right now, like.
I knew you were gonna say it.
Let
Dale.
me tell y'all right now because we cannot get off the pod without me saying this. Look at the stupid shit that Julio's doing right now. Green line, we hit those. You're
Hit them.
stupid. I just caught on to the whole green line on top of your head. You're an idiot. You're a freaking idiot. But aside from that, let me tell you that if I didn't know Julio and if I were to be playing against a 2K player the way Julio works and the way that Julio looks in 2K, I would break my screen. I would break my screen because
And I hope
the
people
thing
do.
about Julio's player is you don't expect him to hit shots. And you definitely do not expect him to dunk the ball. Which, by the way, he dunks now. Just reminding y'all. So when he's doing both of these things and he's wearing a pair of joggers and a Tyler Hero jersey, it's kind of like I'm telling y'all, like I would be hot playing against this cat.
But you know what, bro? And I do it on purpose now because every time I have to play online against a freaking banana, a mascot, a skeleton, or stupid idiots with their eyes red, coño, at least my guy looks realistic. He looks like an idiot, but he's dogging you up.
Y'all listening to this crap? You guys are listening to this.
So the other day había un tipo que he was all tatted, red eyes, con cape, no shirt. But guess what? But
Yep. Cause let's clear the record up. Let's clear the record up. So what Julio's touching up on is something very important when it comes to the 2K world. We'll get matched up as a team against a bunch of 99 overalls 95s, 98s, you can name it, right? And we'll beat them. We'll beat them clear as day because let me tell you all right now, just because you buy VC, it don't mean you're good. And I'm gonna leave it there. Julio, you need to pause the episode. You're froze.
No, papo. Se apagó la cinco computadora.
You're a fucking idiot. Well, it's still recording me, by the way. So everything we're talking about right now is recording me, by the way. Like I'm still live.
Bueno,
Now I'm live even more by myself.
just end the podcast and then the video.
The red button? I click the red button.
No.
So,
Podcast.
all right. So as you guys see now, which we're gonna have to edit all this out, by the way, Julio, somehow, some way. Please do not upload this like this, because this is some behind the scenes stuff that just happened. But anyway, Julio has gone night night, guys. Now it's clearly only me on the screen. Yes, we're still live. He's here on the phone, by the way. Oh,
I'm back.
he's back. He's back. Look at that. He's back. But anyway, so we're gonna clearly have to edit a couple things out, Julio, before this goes live. Um, but we're glad you guys are still with us. The number of subscribers has not gone down, no matter the absence that we've taken, unfortunately, due to again life kicking in, different factors being partaking. Um, we're glad we're back on the pod, being able to deliver another episode for you guys, and we hope you guys really enjoy this one. I really think it was one of our best episodes. I don't say
Was
that
it?
quite often, to be honest. Um, but again, it means the world to us when you guys like, subscribe, comment. We want more comments, guys. We want more comments. We want
We
the
want more
comment section to be interactive. We want you guys to let us know. You know what, Juan? Like, I don't know what the hell you saying up there, dog. Like, you out of pocket. Come at me. I don't care. This is what this is about. We're trying to build a community here, and we're only gonna be able to build a community the more you guys interact with us. So, last thing I'll say is, Moncada, I'm still trying to see you. And trust me, it's gonna happen any given moment. And I really hope you're ready because boy, am I ready to annihilate you, dog. And I'm saying that on live video right now. I'm ready to fuck you up, dog.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, interact, comment, and
Guy's an idiot.
you know what? If you want to get dogged up in 2K, let me know, Doug. I'll dog you up.
Comment your gamer tags. Comment your gamer tags. It's crossplay.
You won't.
I'm leaving that up to the public.
But alright, guys, thank you so much. We'll be consistent with it again, and till next time.